Yeah, I think a week or two ago he said, "Yeah, I actually forgot there was two podcasts I was doing at the same time. My bad."
Damn. He's using that clout to get him out of it. I'm doing two podcasts.
I think it's more of he does not keep a calendar.
Yeah, it's a pretty
Which, to
easy.
be fair, I don't exactly either, but I also have never. I shouldn't say have never, but I do. It has been many years since I have conflated a time schedule.
Right.
So,
Well, good. Yeah, I use a calendar because if I don't use a calendar, then I do stuff like that, but it's a pretty easy matchup. You just use a calendar app.
it is. I don't know why, but I just tend to not forget those things.
Yeah,
Like
all power to you.
I have an exact mental map over where I'm going to be and what I'm doing at any given time and date, if you were to ask me. So I
That's
assume
great.
it's the way that I record the information in my mind is tied to something else.
Brain's
But
pretty neat.
yes, it is. Like I know what I'm eating on any given day this week. So
Nice
that yeah, fun stuff.
organization. I was practicing, or like since we talked, I like just played a little bit of Wi-Fi with the intent of like letting people get close and then practice situations like that. And um, I feel like that like I am on the intro of like understanding those situations better because I think that obviously intuitively I like subconsciously I'm in those situations all the time, but like my strategy up until now has just honestly like been pick an option and like pray it works out rather than like think about what's been happening or paying attention to those details. Um, and just purely go based off of feel in those situations. And so I think it's going to take a lot of practice for me to start playing that aspect of the game.
It comes with familiarity. For me, when somebody is coming at me and I'm on the corner, I feel like I'm about to win the game.
Really.
Yeah. So even though I recognize it's not usually a good position, I'm very comfortable with it. So extrapolating that, I think that once you get more experience with it, you'll feel similarly. So the I don't think it's a coincidence that there's so many players who like to stay on the corner, just because having the ability to backdoor people off stage and having the certainty to know that I'm not worried about my opponent accidentally killing me on a ledge option I pick.
Hmm. I feel like that happens to me all the time. Uh,
Well,
and
once you have that base to work from, which is part of why I brought up the ledge trap, like that's another step to you getting that. So you getting to the ledge feels more comfortable to you now, like I can tell.
mhm,
So we just got to get you comfortable being on the ledge and then get you comfortable being on the corner.
gotcha.
So we're getting there. And also just to be clear, when I watched these sets, I saw very close sets that involved you being in a winning position until a very big interaction swung it in your opponent's favor.
Okay,
In other words, fixing small things is going to be disproportionately effective for your improvement versus theirs.
okay.
Like, was there any particular back air where you just hit them and you were like, yeah, I'm not going to get another one of those?
No, I when I was watching this, like I rewatched it a couple times and I just felt like that I was so strongly or like that my game plan was working and that I was executing it pretty well and then I would make like a misinput or like something slight would happen and then he would just completely snowball it. That like resulted yeah. I just felt like once he started hitting me, I just like completely got obliterated.
So, from my perspective, watching the same thing, I I can see why you see that. But what I'm specifically seeing is, well, if you learn, well, this specific spot this is how we're going to avoid it. And then he's going to have to find a different way to snowball. Except I can see a very short list of things that he can do to snowball
Okay.
for both Nyrock and Gummy. So both of those players basically have some small situations that they noticed. It's like you finding out that you can down air people at the ledge, and then once they realize, hey, I just shouldn't up B to the ledge at the same time every single time, and that probably won't hit me anymore because there's too much variance to keep him from consistently Sephiroth down airing me through the stage.
Mhm.
Okay, so we run through that, and then what else are you doing to kill me at zero off stage?
Mhm.
That wasn't rhetorical.
Oh, okay. Um, like gimping.
Yeah,
Those are like the only two things I can think of. Maybe
yeah.
Giga
So
Flare breaking your shield. I don't know.
so then I can answer that, and then once you run out of those, like last time you played me, you weren't really killing me at zero anymore. And
Right.
it's not that I just got super better or anything. It's that I knew noticed, well, if I just stay out of these specific snowball situations, even if I limit what I'm doing here, so I'll be a little bit worse in those positions on average, but there will never be any large victory for you on there. And the same thing applies to you. So, uh, in your case, there's like a couple things that you do. There's that, and then there's down smash.
Yeah.
However, there are several things, but I still mean like a handful of things that Gumby and Nyrock had on you. So as long as you can put one of those fingers down and you run into them and you lose to them again, which I don't think you would in the first place, but let's say you lose to them again, you put down two fingers, you've taken away almost half of their escape plan.
Right. I see what you're saying.
So eventually, the number of times they're going to beat you is entirely determined by how many tricks they have in their bag. And as long as you learn from at least one trick every single time you see it, unless they are expanding their bag of tricks, they're going to run out.
I see what you're
And
saying.
so essentially, they have to keep growing with you in order to maintain that lead. And I'm telling you right now that neither of these players are growing that fast.
Right. I see.
And if they are growing, like you have to bear in mind how they're growing. Like I guarantee you, Nyrok has gotten a lot better versus Pokemon Trainer.
Right.
It's not really going to help him a whole lot against Sephiroth.
I see.
Now, something else I would like for you to consider. So it probably feels like you haven't gotten any better against these players, but what Falcon and Ike have you been practicing with?
None.
Okay. What Sephiroth do you think they've been practicing with?
Lade potentially. I think there's a Lakeland player named Cake Mix that plays Sephiroth.
And so does Messy Pack.
Oh,
So they have multiple Sephiroths who, even if they aren't as good at you as you, are at least good enough to give them the experience to prepare for Sephiroth. So you came into this disadvantaged in terms of matchup experience. And when I asked you if you had a game plan, like, do you have their habits?
no.
Okay. Did they have your habits?
Probably not. Maybe.
Okay. So neither of you had a player advantage. They had a matchup advantage. And
Hmm.
then on top of that, who is generally considered favored to win? Like, if on a seeding list, who do you think is going to be seeded higher? You or Nyrock and Gumby?
Um, I actually think that I might be.
Why is that?
Just because I know Nyrock doesn't really come in this region anymore, and Gumby doesn't attend a ton, and um, I don't know. I figured our seating would be about equal, but
From my perspective, not as an analyst, but as a TO, I would almost always seed both of them higher than you because Nyrock has similar wins to you, and I know that between the two of you, He is more likely to be offended if I seed him below you.
True.
So, and whereas Gumby is someone who was considered for PR. So generally, I just to be clear, this is not where I think you guys are as players,
No, I understand what you're saying.
but I think that it is more likely that someone is going to say that you would be seated below them. So I'm under the impression that there is not a single area in which you are not considered the underdog coming into these matches.
Okay.
Now, as someone who knows where you're at and where they're at, I don't think that that's necessarily true. But from my perspective, you did not go into these matches prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't come in here ready for the matchups. You didn't come in here ready for the players.
Right.
So I was really confused as to why you said that they were rough losses. Was it because they were close sets?
Yeah, I just like generally feel like that I've put in a lot of effort to like improve. And I felt like that I have worked on my game plan pretty hard and that I uh I guess I feel like I'm very different from like the last time that I played these players and that I was executing my game plan really well and I still lost and that's why I felt like they were rough.
Well, I mean, you're not supposed to win if you aren't specifically prepared to beat your opponents.
Hmm.
So you didn't come in here prepared to win. You came in here prepared to practice your game plan.
Right.
And from what we've seen so far, you've done a much better job at executing your game plan
True.
relative to what we watched you play against Synergy.
Cool. Well, thanks.
So, from my perspective, you went into a disadvantageous scenario. You performed well, and you were disappointed. So I wanted to find out why that was. So yeah, you are not supposed to win these matches based on just the benefit of them being ready for you and you not being ready for them, or rather them being ready for your character and you not being ready for theirs.
Hmm. Yeah.
So if you want to win, we can make sure you beat these people and look at their habits. But that was not your goal going into this event. Was you were not trying to beat Gumby and you were not trying to beat Nyrock.
Right. I guess
So
that I have the false logic that if I am executing my game plan well and I'm improving on my game plan, then I should like be winning, especially against or like last time I played against Nyrock, I beat him. So in the linear mind of thinking, I'm like, well, if my game plan's gotten even better, and uh, I haven't seen Nyrock at a ton of events. Granted, I haven't even attended that many, but like I was like, okay, well, if I went from level 13 to 15 and like he's around the same level as before, then like my improved game plan should be even better than the last time that we played. Um, which I again is like a little bit of an entitled line of thinking, but I
it's also a matter of understanding how many dimensions are in the game.
yeah,
So your ability to lift more chairs faster doesn't mean you're going to lift a couch faster.
yeah,
So the I understand what you're talking about, and you can't really help feeling that way. But that's part of why I said this is specifically what we're going to look at to judge it. That's why I was telling you I don't really care if you win or lose. I care about how you're sticking to the game plan. And like I said, if you want, we can make sure you beat these guys next time. But that wasn't a particular focus for your long-term improvement. But
yeah,
if
I
you're gonna,
agree.
if so, this is an opportunity for you to also practice specifically reconciling that.
Hmm.
So it's up to you. If you want, we can go over how to beat these people so that you don't lose to them anymore. And we'll go ahead and go over their habits so that you can specifically read them and then put out forward smashes that connect. But it's only going to work on exactly these players.
I see. Yeah, obviously I want what's best for like long-term improvement, and even though it like stings and is disappointing, I am not like until you say otherwise, because I like trust your advice. Like I'm not interested in beating these players. I'm interested in improving like my long-term general game plan. And so I think I just need to like work, like you said, work on reconciling that because losing is uncomfortable or like losing doesn't feel good.
So we're looking at this, and the idea is that these are bots.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter what they're doing. It matters how you recognize what they're doing relative to what you're doing, and then how you're going to adapt that. But that wasn't our goal in this particular case
Hmm.
because we don't want to overload you on things to work on.
I gotcha.
So, something I want you to understand as it relates to winning and losing is that Sephiroth is a lot like a balloon. Just a small pin prick can blow up the entire thing.
Hmm.
So, when you see yourself getting blown up by a 60% combo, yeah, that sucks, don't get me wrong. But it's a matter of, well, if they only hit you 8 times that game, then that means that each improvement you make is going to be like a 12.5% improvement. Whereas if they avoid getting hit by you 1 time, you hit them like 20 times, so they get a 5% improvement.
Right. I see. Yeah.
So that's part of what I meant by there's small things that you need to avoid, and just iterating and going through that process is it won't take very long for you to just improve significantly faster than theirs. And that's assuming they practice as much as you do.
Hmm.
So we won't assume that they do or don't. It's just a matter of that's just how that works. Like
Right.
there's only you can only improve on what things exist.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that helps me conceptualize. That fits with kind of how I felt, where I felt like that for like 90% of the games in both of our games that I was like doing really well, and then it felt like in those 10% of situations where the pin hit that like I exploded and uh which like you said, improving on that like exponentially improves my chances because like, these games were all very very close even given the pinprick situations.
And the same thing applies to a lot of the characters that do beat Sephiroth in neutral, like Sheik, for example. So even though, like, when you played against Fusix, it probably felt like you were just absolutely overwhelmed and there was nothing you could do. But while I was watching that match, I saw that you were literally just missing a few pinpricks
Hmm.
that would have completely reversed the momentum of the set,
Interesting.
any given set. So, like, there's opportunities to poke holes in Fusix's game plan that you didn't see. And just like people finding the holes to poke in yours make an enormous difference, so too does that work for you. So, every hole you close is going to make a big difference for you, and every hole you open for the characters that don't really have to work as hard are going to be big for you.
Hmm.
And then that's exacerbated by you having the one wing mechanic.
Right.
So if you basically just throw your whole first half of your stock away and then use one wing in addition to the information you have, which is eventually what we'll work toward, then you're going to be able to outdo whatever they do. But our first goal is to essentially get your Sheik esque you can't hit me game plan down.
Hmm.
And just to be clear, this is actually not your A plan. This is going to be your B plan. Your A plan is going to be something else, which we can't get into until you actually have enough security
I
from
got
your
you.
B plan.
Yeah.
So essentially, we're going to be nickel and diming them here, and then we're eventually going to learn how to pick people apart with reads to take advantage of one wing later.
I see. That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
This is exciting too, though.
Well, you're basically Sword Cario, so
So-
unfortunately,
True.
in Lucario's case, he gets to just charge up and then run face first into everything, whereas you have the unfortunate circumstance of being run away face first and hope they don't touch you. So
Gotcha.
much harder. Yeah. So first thing I'm gonna point out is that you still have the same thing where you don't press a button until 2 seconds into the match.
Okay.
So you basically made, let's see, count one, two, three movement options for your one button, and then you put out three buttons. He still hasn't pressed one, and your fourth button hits his first button.
So the reason I'm not doing it on match start is because I'm afraid that if they jump on match start and I immediately am doing the a back air as soon as possible, that he's gonna land on me with a nair or something.
Then
Uh,
assume he's going to land on you with an air or something, and hit that spot.
okay.
Just attack the area before he gets there, and let him jump into it.
So then I just drop and then back air at tipper back air at the spot where he could land if that's what he decided to do.
Yep.
Okay. So but then my first action is to dash in that circumstance, right? But then
I
put
mean,
out the back air.
you can just walk up to the edge of the platform, so right around this dot, and so the inner dot
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
platform,
yeah, yeah.
and then just turn toward the ledge, and then drop through and back here.
Okay.
And in the time it takes you to walk up to that spot, he will have already jumped over.
I see. Okay.
And so what's going to happen is your backer is going to come down and cover up to the center of the Pokeball. So if they did anything to get to the center of the Pokeball during that time, then they got hit. And it's not possible for them, unless they're like Fox or Falco with a side B, then it's not possible for them to reach you before your backer comes out.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
So, like I said, assume they're going to attack you as fast as possible and put out your attack to hit that. And then if they do anything, as long as you didn't do something like forward smash, then they're not going to hit you. And even then, I recommend trying that sometime. Just as soon as the match starts out, just forward smash on the platform ASAP. And I think what you're going to see is, unless they had already started moving toward you, that they're not even going to be able to whiff punish that.
Okay.
And if you ask them why, they'll say, I don't know, I just wasn't ready for it. And your takeaway for that is that everything is very safe if you aren't ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you pressed your fifth button, sixth button hits him. He still has not pressed his second button. And then you put out your seventh button, but this time it's forward smash and he hits you.
Yeah, that was me not watching the timer on the ball, and going off of just feel, and I thought that the ball was gonna cover me if I did that.
That's reasonable. If he'd made an eighth forward tilt, though, that also would have worked.
It's true.
Notice that he's grabbing you here at the same time, by the way, is Nyrock. Or he full hops in and grabs you. Here, if you see him full hop in here, on reaction to him not landing with Nair, you roll.
Okay.
Or you full hop out. Boy's choice.
What about just dash towards center?
Well, he was between you and center there. So he was up here. By the time you're reacting, he's already over here. Which means by the time
Oh, I
you
see.
try
I
and
see.
time it. So you're reacting to him not doing this, which means he's already going to be here and doing something.
Okay.
So you dropping shield is probably too slow. Which means you have to cancel your shield into something. So either jump or roll. Yeah, so here you just needed to retreat your forward tilt. Or you could have double back aired.
Okay. Yeah, using F tilt inappropriately. That was like a good use of F tilt. because he had to move in order to get there, right? Like what we were
Yeah,
talking about the last time we talked was where I F tilted because he had to move and press a button in order to get there in time, and F tilt covered that.
yeah. So this was him doing the thing to punish forward tilt, by the way, and you still had enough time to get that back air out. And then after the back air, you were actually still safe. He hit your dash.
Hmm. Do you think I'm like dashing away too much or like too predictably?
No, because you were getting hit in that same spot for jumping. So maybe rollback was is just better for you in that situation.
Okay.
But even then, that would have you rolling during his fair. So it's not exactly great either. So this was him actually reading your retreat
And he
and
got
trying to
hit.
dash attack it. It just didn't matter because you were covering dash attack. So note that you overextended on this forward tilt to hit him, and you still didn't hit him. So you could have just done the forward tilt sooner to hit the spot instead. So try and put tipper down tilt or forward tilt down here.
Yeah, yeah. I could
Like
have been
this forward
further
tilt.
back.
Yeah, same thing here. This forward tilt hits over here. You could have been under the platform, under this dot, and still forward tilted him and hit him.
Yeah.
Like it's coming out behind him.
I think I was trying to kill him with it, but I got it and I didn't kill him. I need to make flashcards for kill percents with stuff like this. Do you think that was worth it if that was gonna kill him?
Maybe. But it's more a matter of if it's not going to kill him anyways, then why did you make it less safe? But yeah, this whole space, like from here all the way back to here, is space. So yeah, you could have been behind this dot. But that's why I keep telling you to be at this dot when you're swinging, because he also could have ledge rolled past this forward tilt.
Yeah, and then hit
But
me.
if you're here, then you forward tilt the ledge roll and you still hit this get up. And you can still hit this the ledge jump too if you tilt it up. So instead, you're just covering one of those three things. Well, two of the three. So you're cutting half of your, or sorry, you're cutting out that extra option. So you're missing out on this in order to get like a couple percent.
Right. Bad trade.
I think so. Yeah. So that roll in is risky. If you're gonna do that, just land on the platform and shield it.
Okay.
Although I will say that you have done a nice job mixing up your invulnerability movement. Yeah. So after this back air, assume that they're going to jump out of hit stun or attack out of hit stun. So
Okay.
assuming he tries to ferry you here or nair you so that you can't dash grab him, then you can just walk, like take one step back and then forward tilt to hit this spot.
Okay. I
And then
see.
if he jumps out over here, then the time it takes him to double jump and land on this platform is longer than your forward tilt.
So then he's still in a bad spot.
Right. Like see how you just attacked his same get up twice and it's still safe and you get to swing a third time?
Yeah.
So undershoot if you're gonna. It's better to undershoot than overshoot. Like, see how safe this is?
Hmm.
He is acting out of shield the same time you are. Your forward tilt was effectively like -11, which is after shield drop, and also that's on parry, by the way. So even if he tries to parry it, if you undershoot it, then it's still pretty safe. Yeah. So here again, you're throwing off your timing with the empty hop. Yeah, you took too long to think after your down smash. Same get up, down tilt habit. You've already got something to work on for your rotation there. Like this was fine. So what made this fine is that there was no way for him to reversal you here. Like he hits you here, but look at where he hits you to. So you get to drop down fair and then up tilt.
So you think that short hop up air was bad there?
No, because it's what your game plan was. So here,
Like
I
in
think
res
we.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my mistake here. So this is where we have a prototype game plan. We look at the feedback, and then we alter the game plan. I am happy you did that up air. I'm happy you fast fell that up air. That was your game plan, right?
Hmm.
I'm happy. It very clearly did not work out. It didn't work out versus Nyrock either. So, we're going to modify your game plan if it's not working. And so, do you remember what was wrong with the up air on Nyrock? Like, why it didn't work?
Um,
Because
there,
if I remember correctly, you said it would have hit if you hadn't done something.
I don't remember. Are you talking about the only one I can think of is the double jump one? Or no. That was on the town and city game. I don't remember.
You up aired, and he was very clearly in the up air range, and then you fast fell, so the hitbox didn't reach him.
Oh, that one. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so keep that in mind, and then look at this.
So are you saying that if I didn't fast fall, it would have been fine?
Yeah. So the up airs stay, the fast fall does not.
Okay.
So look at this.
Yeah. Um,
So
okay.
yes, I am saying if you had not fast fallen, this up air was still correct.
Well, that's cool because the fast falling the up airs is super hard to get it to come out, but like still get the full hitbox. Um, is there are there other situations where you think I should be fast falling it, or do you think uh
So remember when I was saying up here where you want to up air and then swing
okay.
at their feet and then fast fall on a reaction to them fast falling?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. Outside of that, though, stop fast falling your up airs.
Okay. Cool.
So this is us using practical data, looking for patterns, because this is very clearly a pattern across two different matchups where you're losing out on a position. So you specifically wanted him to not be here, right?
Hmm.
So that's the whole point of what we're doing. You up air here so that your opponent can't come here. If your opponent is coming here and then hitting you for it, then what we did is not working. So what else can we do? And so then we're going to try and make the simplest change possible, which is the up air without the festival. If that doesn't work, then we're going to find something else. And I can think of several things that we have that work as follow ups, whether that's try and stay under them and up tilt, or if that means that you're just going to not be under them, but try and catch and chase their landing with like forward tilts.
Okay.
But yeah, so here this happens because you did something that I wanted you to do in your game plan. So you just lost, but you lost because you did what you came in here to do. I am happy with that result.
Okay.
Now, this was a case of my game plan failing you, but that's okay because this is just a temporary setback. So we're going to make adjustments, try it again, and it's going to be better next time. And if we do this every single time, then it's going to keep getting better and better and better and better. And eventually you just run out of things to get better with, or your opponents grow and give you more things to improve on. But whenever one of these things stops growing, you're going to max out and you're going to be no longer challenged.
Hmm. I got you.
So I will point out, see how he's a. Let's pretend that you forward aired. Look at where he's at.
Outside of it.
Yeah, he specifically. So Nyrock and Gumby both play around you forward airing because they're used to Sephiroth's forward air like that,
Hmm.
which is how I know that they have that Sephiroth experience. Like this back air, the difference between back air and up air is that when you barely whiff your back airs are safer.
Hmm.
Like this is what I want to see. Whereas the up air, when you barely miss your up airs, it's not safe.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Because if that was a
So,
missed back air, I would have been fine.
so we're gonna look and see if not fast falling this would have let this hit here. Maybe
Maybe.
it's pretty close.
But even
So,
if it didn't, and I didn't fast fall it, I mean, like, would you feel comfortable in being like that was a fluke that he like barely dodged it? Because like his animation just barely contorts his leg to where he like gets out of it.
well, there have consistently been flukes.
You think his spacing is just that good?
No,
Oh,
it has nothing to do with Gumby because this happened against Nyrok as well.
okay. Oh, you're talking about, yeah, the fast fall. Okay.
Yeah. So we're more so asking, well, let's say that I am wrong to say that you shouldn't fast fall. How can we disprove that? Well, we can just see the fast falls working. And here it once again doesn't work. I think that not fast falling that would have worked to let that hit.
Okay.
You definitely get directly punished for it, but it's a matter of testing our theories and seeing what comes of it.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to assume that I'm correct. I'm going to assume that I have the best working model currently
What do you want to do?
and then be willing to adjust it later. Like,
Okay.
see how you don't care that this didn't work?
Yeah.
So, this will come up later, as I recall. So, here you hit him. On parry, you go for a back air. You might have been able to get a guaranteed hit on that parry, but it doesn't matter because there's no chance of you being wrong. Because this still says that, like, you get another back short hop back air here.
Right.
So you still get the hit. There was no risk of you, like, running up to dash grab him and him spot dodging. Like, there is no world in which that happens and he wins because you got the back air to back air. And so any option he picked there did not directly win.
And so I feel like that's a pretty good.
It's just loading the dice as per usual. So, like, here, he made an all in play here because he felt like he was going to die. And he saw a way. So, in this case, it was less risk management and more risk reward for him. So, he saw you go for a short hop aerial 3 times in a row. He was sticking with the shadow flare, so he knew that he was in a bad situation. But he also saw there was a 50-50 where if he up smashes your jump here and also covers your roll in, that you die or he dies. So he turned basically a situation in which he was very likely to lose into a way that was 50-50 for one of you to lose.
I see. And I fell essentially I fell for it. Like I could have just avoided that situation altogether.
Uh, kind of, but it still worked out. Like the whole point is that you just shielded it and then forward tilted him and it killed.
Okay.
It's a lot easier to shield than it is to up smash a jump.
True. Or there's a lot more risk involved.
All right, we got another up air situation here. So this time the up air fast fall worked. Actually, did you fast fall?
I did. I thought I saw the spark. While you load that, can you give me just 1 second? Cat's asking me for something. Hey babe, are you want to talk about it real quick? Okay, what's up? It's not. I mean, it kind of is. People are expecting me, but I'm gonna cancel because our date night's important. I just forgot, and I think you forgot. Okay, let's do it, but I want to finish my thing with Tony. Probably like within like 30 minutes. Thanks, man. So sorry.
You're good. So fast fall up air did work here, and it is more worthy than not fast falling it because you're minus here.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're -8, which also means you don't want to attack. Like you want to use a defensive attack there. So after you get that up air, just fast or just forward tilt in his direction
Okay.
and assume they're gonna drift into you. And like here, it would have hit the nair, but even if it doesn't hit the nair, it's because they're jumping, or it's because they're drifting away.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I went for that. I felt pretty strongly that he was gonna attack out of it. And I was right, but like I feel like also if he jumped away or did something else, then I was still okay, I guess. Like I'm trying to
That is
think of a
correct.
situation where I like was in a bad spot out of that, like with the run up shield. I believe you. I just want to understand why it was why.
Because him going for nair starts shield pressure on you. So his
True.
whole thing is that he wants to get next to you, and he can't get next to you because you outrange him and you outreach him too. So if he had a way of magnetically pulling you into him, into his under his nair, then he would do that when he saw you shielding.
I see. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it feels like a good situation, like in theory, but you're right. Like I'm, like that worked out for me, but it could have not worked out, or it would have started shield pressure, which is bad. What I don't want, where I could have just swung at him and been fine.
So this is the corner situation again, and that you were comfortable there, which is why it worked for you. It is a matter of there's other things that are better things that you could be doing instead. So you're doing something that works and then you're fixing it, which is always a questionable choice. So there's nothing wrong with you doing the dash shield there. It's a matter of if you had done this other thing, there was no chance of losing. There's no RPS.
Right.
There's just RP. So the it's a matter of you being comfortable in the corner, but over here when you're dash shielding.
I see.
So it's important that you do feel comfortable there, but you don't have to put yourself there just because you're comfortable there.
Hmm.
So up air, fast falling did not affect that. Again, whiffing it is safe. So here I just want to see you press a button at some point. So the reason you want to preemptively press your buttons here is because if he does something like ledge jump or ledge drop double jump, you can't react to that, which means whatever choice you made needed to have been made preemptively. So what I would like to see you doing here is going for reads that don't commit. So just like he was wrong for jumping in with that nair instead of retreating out of back air, so too were you wrong for trying to wait and time something.
Okay. So the
That's better.
can you show me the mistake that I made with that?
So we'll keep track of how long it takes you to press the button. I went too far forward. 3 seconds.
Yeah. It's I know what it is. It's the like the fear that we were talking about earlier of I so badly don't want to be in a situation where he gets to pressure my shield where it's like I'm just gonna like until I am 100% comfortable throwing out this back air and I'm at a spacing and a timing where like I know I'm gonna hit it, then I'm not gonna throw it out. Um, and I need to like work on that. Because it's so obvious that just back airing right there would be fine. And I'm moving so fast with the fast decision making that even if I'm wrong, like even if I whiff, like it's gonna probably be okay.
So, what you can work on to help with that is spend time focusing on the tempo, on the rhythm.
Okay.
I know we've talked about it before. Are you familiar with the game Osu?
Uh, I only from what you've talked with me about.
I do recommend you spending time playing rhythm games of some sort.
Okay.
Whether
I'll
that's
write it down.
playing Beat Saber and trying to get in some cardio, or if you just want to play a computer game with that's a rhythm game, whatever works.
Does the Kingdom Hearts Melody and Memory game qualify? Because I've been wanting to play
Yes,
that train wreck forever.
go
Okay,
for it.
cool.
So the idea here is that if you want to throw off your timing, it's beats. So this is basically like a song. Like I'm going to turn the volume on.
Okay.
Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the rhythm I want to hear. The ding 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 ding. I don't want to hear silence. Like even when he interrupts your up air, he's interrupting it on that tempo. So
I
what
see.
people are using to get around your back airs is they're reading that tempo. So they're gonna wait. And I do this too, where I'll listen to it. Sometimes I'll even close my eyes to get it. And I'll listen to it and I'll try and hit you between the beats.
Okay. So you're saying that I should uh throw in the hits out like out of rhythm?
You keep that rhythm, and then if you think somebody's about to jump around it, then you wait a beat and then you press the button.
Okay. That's
And
something that I've yeah, been struggling with is because sometimes people figure out this tempo and even if they're not hitting me for it, I like they can consistently like walk me to the corner with it because they're not capable of punishing me, but like they will just walk up shield with the tempo and then I'm like, "Oh shit, what do I do?"
yeah, once you reach that point, you first once they push you here, you should be comfortable. So you already have your Donkey Kong exercise for that. But here it's a matter of we're gonna have you come bring him over here, and then what we're gonna hear is that you turn your beat into silence.
I see. I
So
see.
if you had kept up your rhythm there, you would have already hit him.
So are things like an empty short hop considered a beat or not really? Like it needs to be an attack on all of those beats.
So an example of that would be switching your short hop to a full hop instead.
Okay.
So it depends what the rhythm is. In this particular case, an empty short hop is a beat because you're using short hop fast fall back air, which is like a short hop and a half.
Okay.
So essentially, yes. Alternatively, you can just go for full hop fast fall back air, which should just slightly delay it. And that also means like if you go for full hop fast fall back air, that is actually going to hit anyone who's trying to parry your short hop back airs.
Hmm. Okay. Do you ever recommend running up and grabbing on the tempo? Because I mean, I've tried that a few times and it works out. Um, and that was something that Fusix told me to do actually, but I wasn't so sure.
Yes, you can. The difference there is that you want to do so after you have confirmed that they're going to hold shield,
Okay.
and you want to test to make sure that they're not going to react to something. So something you can do is you can, like, right after you back air, you can dash dance left right. So you basically start an initial dash toward them and immediately cancel it back and then short hop back air.
Okay. And then if they
And
held shield, go
that's
ahead.
something Cola does a lot is if you see him coming at you, it's because he's going to retreat.
Okay.
Spargo does it too. He'll initial dash toward you immediately as fast as he can, dash back away from you, and cancel that initial dash into a short hop. So he'll do this,
He'll
and
dash.
by the time they see that you started your initial dash toward them, you're already in the air over here, and then you put out a back air. So if they reacted to you moving toward them and they pressed a button, then either they pressed a button and they're whiffing over here and you're over here now, or they tried to attack in to hit you before you could hit them and they just jumped into your back air.
Okay.
And then if you see them ignoring that and basically just holding shield through your back air, so you're over here back airing, your back air's out and they're still in shield, then next time you can, dash grab them.
Okay. And then you could expand that even further to where if they like aerial in that situation, then like and I get hit that one time, then in the future I could just dash towards them and then short hop back air away like from the direction I came from and then they would get hit.
Yeah. And if
Okay.
they're doing it even earlier than that, like if you see them doing it before you even start the back air, then you know they did it not on reaction to your dash, but whatever you were doing before the dash.
Okay.
So determining what they're responding to means that you can cancel that into whatever beats what they're doing.
Right.
Like if they let's say you are shielding and you do this out of shield and then they jump out and swing and hit you and you jumped away, or let's say they try to hit you and then you jumped away and they don't, knowing that it was too fast for them to possibly have done so tells you that they did it on reaction to the shield drop, not the initial dash, which means that next time you can just drop shield and forward tilt and they'll jump right into it on reaction to it.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Because a few frames after they start whatever aerial they do out of shield, so before any aerial has come out, your forward tilt will hit them because of human reaction delay.
Right. Dang, man. I feel like that's the like a level of the game that I'm not like that I have to like play in slow motion for right now because like that is not I'm not instantly thinking of those things.
I assure you, no one in Tampa is. It's just a
Okay.
matter of it's something they have a feel for that you don't.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I assure you, no one in Tampa is thinking, yeah, I'm definitely gonna bait him with my out of shield here.
Or like show him like do you think no players in Tampa are thinking in that like critical way of like I'm gonna see what he's reacting to?
They do sometimes. They don't have as comprehensive of a perspective of the game.
Okay.
I don't think there are any players in Tampa who are asking, is he reacting to my jump squat or my shield drop?
Okay. I gotcha.
And if there are, it's because they're used to thinking similarly in like the FGC people, like Zev.
Mhm.
So, like, that's also why your dash grab here works.
Like that was yeah, that was me trying that. He didn't shield, but he dashed towards me and it worked.
He didn't dash toward you, he dash attacked.
Oh.
He was trying to hit your next backer. It was a read on
Oh,
your
okay.
it was a read on you jumping. So that's why that works. Like there, he expected you to try and dash shield, which is why he down tilted. Alright, so here's an example of him reading your tempo with his fair.
Yeah, I hear it
No,
like a
his
metronome.
yeah, his fair hits you almost perfectly on beat. So you can just mix up which beat it is with walk up shield, and then he's fairing all the way in here, and you can short hop nair out a shield that.
Okay, so you're saying like in that tempo situation, like just pick one of the random back air beats to be a walk up shield beat instead?
More specifically, or rather less specifically, I'm saying pay attention to how they're responding to the song that you're making.
Okay.
Like if they're nodding their head to it, then you can guess they're gonna nod their head on beat. But if they're not, then you should ask what they are looking for.
Hmm. Okay.
So that's how you can use that to read people in real time. So again, you don't just want to read what they're doing, but when they're doing it.
Hmm.
Yeah, like here, if you had not canceled this charge, you would have killed him. I'm pretty sure you had enough time to let it go and kill him on his ledge jump. And even if it didn't, you could have just up tilted.
Okay, so you think I should have thrown it in that situation, even being as like laggy as it is? I mean, obviously that would have killed him, but I wasn't entirely sure that he was gonna jump right at that beat.
If you're not sure, then don't. But here I'm saying I don't think he had. I think it was just guaranteed, like that timing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Now again, if you are under the dot all the way, so one more footstep back, then that Giga Flare is gonna hit everything. So again, you are tossing it. Like see where this one pops out, how it's just behind him.
Yeah.
So the Giga Flare is gonna come out. You want the Giga Flare to go off here
So then I
because
want to
he's
be
still
all the
gonna
way
hit
back behind the inner dot, right?
right.
Okay.
So the reason for that is because, well, first you want your forward tilt to hit the roll while also hitting it up, while also hitting ledge jump. And the second is because you want your Giga Flare to hit here. You don't care if he pops off down here to avoid it. Because on reaction to that, you can just walk up and hit his regrab with forward tilt.
Hmm.
And hitting his regrab with forward tilt doesn't have to kill him because you can just come back here and recharge and you're going to get another Giga Flare if it didn't kill him. And the next Giga Flare is going to set up to kill him. And again, this means that there is no window at any point for him to poke a hole in your balloon.
Right, I see what you're saying.
So,
What do you recommend if their ledge hang is too short for me to hit them with down angled F tilt on regrab?
what characters are those?
I have a doc. My phone Discord decided to not show it, but I have a document showing which characters get hit by down angled F tilt and which don't. And I'm pretty sure Ike is on the does not get hit by it.
Then you just act like you're going to walk up and do it, and then you walk back and stagger the forward tilt.
Okay. And then just play that situation. I gotcha.
Yeah. Again, it doesn't matter that hitting them isn't the important part. Guaranteeing that they are never in a position to hit you, like covering their ledge hop. Like I'm going for a ledge drop quick draw, ledge drop double jump quick draw, and ledge drop double jump fair. Things like that is more important. So you just want to make sure forward tilt hits him if he tries anything like that.
Okay.
Like here, you wanted to protect yourself, so you did fine using shield, but you could have just forward tilted for the same effect.
I was just worried that he could have slid in between the F tilt lag. Like, I mean, it would have been difficult, but like for him to get in on the in between frames.
Yeah, like here, you very barely, like it's, you lost this game as a matter of frames. So the idea though is that this ledge trap allowed him to have the chance in the first place.
Okay.
Did you have any questions?
Um, on that, so that last part you felt like was like I threw away the ledge trap, which led to me getting killed, but that in that
I
interaction you don't.
not throwing it away. It's a matter of that position directly led into the next position. So the next series of screenshots, and that next series of screenshots was where he got his opportunity to read your tempo.
Okay.
And he it was a tempo that he made the read on because of information that he had
Okay.
from your previous exchange before the ledge trap where you did win.
Okay.
So basically, he got to replay a situation that you had just beat him in, but he got the what is essentially a 50-50 right this time.
Right. And I yeah, died
But
really early for it.
so the idea is that he had more information than you for the same decision, but his meant more because you were playing the pinhole.
So you don't think like the stage positioning or anything like that? Because I remember when we first started talking about this, you were saying how that there are some tiny like pinhole situations, and you feel like that the tempo was the pinhole, not like my positioning on the stage.
I would say your tempo is what you would have used to prevent the pinhole from appearing. I'd say more than anything else. The idea is that you died to him jumping in with a nair. And so the best way to avoid that situation is to not give him enough time to jump in with a nair.
Okay,
And generally, our go to option for that is if somebody's full hopping, it's to up air, right?
you're right.
So we're going to try this again with you using the non fast fall versions of the up airs because of the 4 up airs that you went for with the fast fall, one of the 4 worked. And 3 of the 4 that did not work would have worked if you had not fast fallen.
Right.
So
I
we're going to
see.
try that, put that in your game plan. And so your job is to practice that in training mode. And then in the future, we're going to try the same game plan again and see how it goes next time. Now that we're going to iterate on it, and hopefully you're gonna keep up your tempo of buttons even when you're scared. And if you are just attacking even when you're scared and pressing your buttons and still retreating and keeping your positions, and you're actually standing on the outer dot of the PS2 platform, just inside of it, then we're going to be able to look at the game plan and either you won, in which case we'll ask how you could have won more, or you didn't, and we'll adjust the game plan because the game plan let you down.
Okay, makes sense to me. In that last situation, you think that if I short hop up aired, that that would have prevented that altogether? Because I had to like short hop in order to uh because I dash attacked, I whiffed the dash attack and realized I was out of position, and I tried to back air, short hop back air to cover some of the space so that I could line up like future back airs so that I wasn't just on the edge immediately. Um, but you think that in that situation, if I just short hop up aired away, that I would have like that's what you wanted to see?
Specifically to cover full hops. So there, I think you were going to go for the back air regardless. It's more of it in general. Like you didn't
Okay.
recognize that he was going to jump in with the nair. Against the Nyrock situation, for sure.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it was the same way that they got in the same position, and both of them killed you at 60. So
Yeah.
that's that's the idea, though, is that you are. It looks like you are still coming out ahead for the most part.
Okay. So in that situation, if I short hop up air instead and they like full momentum dash attacked me, like that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because it
And
feels
next time you see the lineup for them to dash attack you, go ahead and just forward tilt instead and let them dash attack into that.
okay. Okay. I see. Because I think that me them full hopping is like a way to beat my game plan if I am not reacting to jump squat, which is obviously what I'm trying to do. But in the meantime, because like if I was able to react to jump squat, then I could be avoiding that situation altogether. Uh, do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
If you want to avoid the situation altogether, uh, honestly, there isn't a whole lot you can do there that I know of. Like you can abandon the whole position, like jump off stage and back air where you were, even if it means going from near the corner to off stage.
Yeah, if I was able to recognize like against Ike or against Falcon, like Falcon at the edge of Town and City or Ike on PS2 by the platform, that is not worth holding that position, and I could just go one step further or like do something else to avoid that setup,
Yeah,
I guess. Because I was just trying to see that in the game plan, um, like full hopping seems like a very obvious like answer that a lot of people choose to get over it because they don't want to go through it, and I lose that interaction like not all the time, but like a good chunk of the time. And I'm trying to figure out how to be better once I realize that they like to full hop over it. Um, and because I guess I mean, I know I can guess and cover it that way, but I'm trying to figure out at what point at that their full hop over me, I can be like, oh, I'm just gonna do this, and then that like beats that option, like a
you can
low
just hit
committal
them
way
in
to
the
beat
air.
it.
That's where you're in. That's something that nair is for.
Okay, and just meet them on their ascent.
Yes. Specifically, so you need to understand that you're going to be so late reacting that short hop nair is usually what you're going to use because they're going to be almost to you already.
Okay,
And then if they're still hitting you there because they used their aerial that early, then whatever they did is not safe on block.
okay, I see.
And you just wait and block it and then nair it out. So either they're using it late and you can nair them early, or they're using it early and you can block it and nair them out of shield. Almost no character can do both. Like the exceptions are things like Falco Fair, Falco Nair.
Right, because they can start up it way early and still be safe on block.
Right. And even then, people are starting to realize that it's not as safe.
Right. I mean like depending on the spacing, like it would have to be perfect, or I could in theory footstool dare out of it.
Hmm.
Um,
You have to practice that for first.
yeah. Last two questions or two more questions I had was one is do you think that it's still uh I to be honest, I haven't been practicing reacting to jump squat lately just because I feel like that there's a lot um that I need to work on, and I feel like that I wasn't sure if that was like a top priority. Um and I didn't know what you thought about that.
I recommend keeping up with it, mostly just because it's going to take you so long to get that down. So you're essentially a creating a reflex on a very tight window. So it'll take time. So I recommend putting in that time. You're not going to get it anytime soon, and that's okay. What matters is that you are advancing toward it because it's something you're going to want later.
Okay.
And that will come down to, like, that will affect us when we are looking at how to use One Wing later.
Okay. Um, appreciate it. The other one, um, this isn't the other one, but the practicing like the reading the animations or like reacting to characters specific ledge animations. Do you like feel like that's something that's also worth keeping in the rotation, or like for practical purposes, do you think it's something that's not worth is or not as more important than some of these other things?
I'm confused. What is your question exactly?
Is studying like ledge animations of different characters like worth it? Like to
Yeah,
put on my practice list? Okay.
absolutely.
I've been struggling on how to like I was thinking of making flashcards for that, which is a super labor intensive process that I think is worth it. But before I dive into that, I want to make sure that I am like the flashcards are worth it. Like understanding, or I guess my forget that. My biggest issue is differentiating the different animations at the very beginning. Like I am really struggling at when like Rob does uh any of his animations, like what to look for, like that tells me early and on enough and that is differentiable at full speed, like quick enough to make that call.
The best thing I can recommend is to use the training mod, just
Okay.
because you do want to specifically get that in real time. So I'll literally just like fourth throw people, or sorry, fourth throw bots. You can go for like down throw to fair to just guarantee that they have to recover to the ledge.
Okay. And then do you do a save state right there? Because that's kind of what I have been doing.
You can. That's definitely what Sean uses. For me, I actually get really sick when I use the current training mod save state because it resets the song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it makes me pretty ill. So
Dang. Um, last one I remembered, the footstool dare. Have been practicing that here and there. I have gotten it in real matches, like probably 1 out of 8 times that I go for it. Uh, and it's just obviously all of these things I know are super worth learning in the long term, but in like the day-to-day like practice, like if I only have a set amount of time of practice in a day, trying to decide what to prioritize is something I've been struggling with. Um, does that make sense?
yes, it does. So whenever in doubt, prioritize the things that stick with you no matter what. Like the things that even if you don't play Sephiroth will still work for you.
Okay.
I'd say that's the universal criterion that you want to stick with.
Does so I know footstool dare is obviously like that's Sephiroth's, but I feel like footstool at a shield is probably relevant with a lot of the cast, but probably not all of the cast. Is that fall into the criteria of like not or of that works with the rest of the cast?
It does if you pick other characters that can do it out of shield, but I'm trying to think how to say it. So the reactions, the reaction training works for every single character.
Right.
The down air out of shield, not so much.
Okay.
So that's how I would prioritize it.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks a ton, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure. When's the next time you're gonna get more footage?
So originally before our phone call started, it was supposed to be tonight, but I was a bad boy and Kat and I actually have date night tonight, but we both forgot. But in the middle of the phone call, we could kind of remembered, and then that's what I had to go. We were like, oh shit, date night's tonight, and so we're gonna go do that instead. But while we're when I get some time, I'm gonna think about when the next one is gonna be. I work Wednesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Friday, Saturday this week. Um, hmm, Probably
Well,
reach out and try to play friendlies with somebody tomorrow then.
no rush. Just let me know when you do.
Okay.
The Yeah, just send me the link next time you do.
Sounds good.
All right. I hope you have a good night. Enjoy your date.
Thanks, man. I appreciate your
Your
time as always.
your surprise date.
Yeah, that's the best kind. So,
Give Kat my regards too.
I will. I will.
All right.
Talk
Have a
to you
good
later,
night.
buddy. Bye.
Bye.